Hi everybody, this is lecture 1 for topic 1, ACT4181, business ethics and corporate governance. So topic 1 is introduction to business ethics, the importance of business ethics. So this is like we'll introduce you what is business ethics, how it relates to businesses and organizations. So let's see. In this topic, you will learn about what is ethics, meaning of business ethics, how is ethics related to economics and accounting, governance, ethics and well-being, ethics from Islamic perspective. This is not very heavy. I think this is not very heavy. If you read the textbook, then it will be more interesting, I think, because the textbook will use the philosophy and refers to like fathers in ethics in the academics. So this, I think, in this notes, everything is lighter, easier to understand. Okay, let's see. What is ethics? Ethics may be defined as the set of moral principles that distinguish what is right from what is wrong. And second point here, ethics has a twofold objectives. First, it evaluates human practices by calling upon moral standards, and also it may give prescriptive advice on how to act morally in a given situation. This is like the definition of ethics. See here, definition of ethics, the set of moral principles that distinguish what is right from what is wrong. The key point here is moral. Ethics is related to moral principle. When you do something, in your workplace, particularly, if the thing that you do is morally acceptable, then we say it is an ethical action or activity. But if you do something in your workplace in relation with your co-workers or superiors or superior and your subordinates, if you do something with them but it is not morally acceptable, in terms of moral, people see it is not correct, then that is unethical. Unethical behavior, sometimes something is not wrong according to the law, is still seen as unethical. The simplest example is like this. Let's say you work in a place, but one of the things that you always do is you spit everywhere. You spit in the everywhere in the workplace. So spitting in workplace is not against the law, but it is not morally acceptable, so it is not ethical. That is the very simple example, so that you can see ethics is something that is morally not acceptable, but sometimes unethical things is not against the law, but many times something but almost all the time something that is against the law is unethical. See here, keep in mind the most important thing here is moral. Ethics is something that is morally acceptable by the society. If something or activity is not acceptable, it's not morally acceptable by the society, then it is not ethical. Okay, why is business ethics important? So So the definition that we use in the previous slide is a very wide or general definition. But now we focus on ethics in business. We are accounting students. We will work in businesses, or maybe you later will start a business. So you have to know, why is business ethics important? First point that you can see, companies experience social blowback when stakeholders perceive that they have breached their deal with society. Good business ethics is prerequisite for good strategic management. So see here, why is business ethic important? The key point here is relation with society. If you have a business, you do something unethical, you will not have good relation. Your business will not have good relation with society. If your business has no good relation with society or with people, then your business cannot prosper. Very difficult. Okay, see here, business ethics. Business ethics are related to responsibility, trust, behavior, principle, relationship, choice, reliability, and morality. So now, ethics from Western perspectives. So things like this are, the work of people in the West. They always explore this kind of concept: ethics, trust. What else? They will try to explore this kind of concept. Actually, it is for us in the East. We have our religion and values. Very simple for us to define this kind of thing, isn't it? But for people in the West, they like to explore this concept, and they create just a big an area of like a discipline of knowledge, or what do you call this? How to say that? They create like it is a big thing. It is an area of interest or area of academic interest on ethics. Even though we from East thinks that ethics is like our everyday things that we do. We don't want to do unethical things to ourselves, our family, etc. But ethics, they try to make it big. Ethics from Western perspective. So see first point there. Ethics are broadly described in the literature as moral principle about right and wrong, honorable behavior reflecting values or standard of conduct. Honesty, openness, responsiveness, accountability, due diligence, and fairness are core ethical principles. Ethics are a branch of philosophy with no clear-cut definition of what behaviors are ethical and which are unethical. When judging one behavior, there is no general or global consensus for defining ethical behavior for individual, as it may change from time to time and from one place to another place. There is no universal measure or standard as to what constitutes ethical behavior. So one thing about Western knowledge or ideas is they always cannot come with a definition for a concept. Like ethics, scholars in Western scholars, they come up with different definition of ethics. This person say ethics like this. Another scholar will say ethics is something like this. Another one will say something like this. So that is the way the Western scholars do their works. we from the East, we have our most of the time we use our religion to define things. If you are a Muslim, then we have something. What is a good thing? What is a bad thing? Very clear. If you are a Buddhist, a Hindu, we use our religion provide us with clear definition for many things, especially for our philosophy of life, our way of doing things. Like a Muslim, okay, this like a Muslim, Prophet Muhammad said, a good person is a person is not good until he loves others like he loves himself. As that is what Prophet Muhammad said. So every Muslim will uh, will use that definition of a good person. But in the Western scholars, they they don't have that. They try to use their too much. They rely too much on their thinking. So this person think like that. This person thinks like this. So many things are not settled. Many things are not settled according to Western scholars. So that's why they have different. They have something like this. You see, there is no general or consensus for defining ethical behavior. This is from the view of Western scholars. From their view, they have no clear or general or global consensus about ethics, but we have. So we learn about them, but we keep, from my opinion, we have to keep ourselves. We have to maintain our Asian and religious view. This is their view, but from our perspective, we have the general consensus about what is defined as ethics according to our religion, or your religion, or your culture or something. Okay. Okay, see here, ethics at workplace or business ethics. There is increased interaction between the board of directors, audit committees, internal auditors, external auditors, executives, employees in general regarding ethical conduct in the workplace. Business ethics are more simply described as process of promoting moral principles and standards that guide business behavior. So see here, according to these notes, ethics at workplace. So there is interaction between people in our workplace. You are working people, you are working students. At the highest level, the interaction are between board of directors, audit committees, internal auditors, external auditors, executives, and others. But at the lower level, there are interaction between co-workers. Maybe you work in a small branch of business, of a big organization. There's a manager there, and there are workers there. There are general workers, low-level workers, middle-level workers, executives, etc. So business ethics issues in this even lower level workplace, not only at the director level or audit committee level or auditor level. No, it happens both at the highest level and the lower level workplace. Business ethics are more simply described as process of promoting. So, and it says that now in many organizations in Malaysia or in other places, there is effort by almost everybody to try to do things ethically. In government sector, I'm working in government sector. I work in UPM. I always aware that at all time, my superior, the dean, everybody at the top of the university always try to tell me as a worker, as an employee of UPM and government, to do things ethically. I think if you work everywhere, anywhere you work, you feel the same. I'm not sure. At the private sector, I'm not sure. But at the government sector, at least they always remind us to do things ethically. I'm trying to do things ethically. I'm trying. I'm not say that I'm 100% ethical person, but I'm trying my best to do things ethically. Okay, ethical values, issues, and choice. Ethical values, shared beliefs about right and wrong, good and bad. Govern the behavior of a person or a group. Ethical issues. Ethical issues are problems or dilemmas with which present a conflict of values. Okay, ethical issues. Ethical issues are ethical problem. If you are working somewhere in your workplace, you always see ethical issues or problem. You will see that your co-worker, he do things that is not ethical, maybe, or even you see your boss do things that are not ethical, or people below your level do things that are not ethical. That is called ethical issues. For an accountant, sometimes you have to settle these issues. You have to face these issues and do things to settle the ethical issues or ethical problem. Ethical choice, decision about which option to take in response to a dilemma or problem. Difficult decisions, because each option has its own drawbacks. That's what I said. Later you are working as an accountant, as a professional, not only accountant, other professionals like doctor, lawyer, etc. They will face ethical problem or ethical issues in their workplace. Doctor will see maybe his or her co-worker given wrong prescription. We accountant, maybe we will see our co-workers or even our superior hide information from the financial statement, for example, or declare low liabilities, or declare or overstate asset. That's the thing that you will see in your workplace. So ethical choice means that you have to decide how to solve this kind of issues, to settle this kind of problem, and very difficult. That's the situation is like you have to do something to your boss or to your co-workers or low-level workers. Maybe you want to do right things, but maybe people don't like you later. That is a very difficult choice. If you do not do you do nothing, problems will exist. Next year, many years. But if you do something, then maybe you will get bad implication. Okay, that is the ethical choice. Okay, this is about ethics. So see, this is about ethics again. Like I said earlier, ethics is something that is morally acceptable by society. Sometimes, ethics is lies between the law and the free choice. Sometimes you do something. Ethical activity or action is something that you do, and sometimes something that is ethical is not against the law. But if something against the law, it always unethical. Okay, but you can see here free choice and law and distinct overlaps. The overlaps between law and free choice is called ethics. How is ethics related to economics? Philosophers and writers view ethics as a matter of choice. Individuals must make choice in their life. This is important to note. Business do not make choices. Choices are made or implemented by individuals within the economic enterprise. People in government make choices. People in educational institution make choices. People in business make choices. People with churches make choices. Everyone is forced to make choices, and even the choice not to choose is a decision. See what factors influencing the ethical behavior. Ethical problems may vary from one person to another according to the factors influencing the ethical behavior. Legal interpretation, organizational factors, individual factors. In secular societies, legal interpretation are based on contemporary values and standards according to time, country, or situation. The organization too can affect or influence participants' behavior based on the degree of commitment of the organization's leader conduct. Individuals come to work with individuals come to work with different values based on the personal values and morals, family influences, peer influence, and life experience. So these factors influencing the ethical behavior. These three factors can make people become more ethical, and sometimes they can make people less ethical than others. Okay, these are examples of ethical issues. Remember, ethical issues are ethical problems that you may see in your workplace. Ethical issues may vary from one organization to another according to the factors influence the ethical behavior. Okay, first, an example of ethical issues is conflict of interest. Every accounting student knows conflict of interest. That is not ethical. You work in a business or you own a business, you hire your son as the chief internal auditor. That's the problem, because your son will try to not to upset you. He will maybe he will always give you good news only, because you are his father, maybe. But you know, all accounting student knows about conflict of interest. Do not do that in we cannot do that in our accounting profession, profession as an accountant. And then quality control issues, discrimination in hiring and promotion. This thing always happen. Misuse of proprietary information, abuse of company expense account, misuse of company assets. This is always happen. I think many workers use the asset of his office for personal purpose. That's not ethical. Misuse, drug and alcohol abuse, environmental pollution, environmental destruction, and many more. Thank you very much. This is the end of part 1 lecture. I will do another second part lecture for this topic. Do not forget to write your name and matric number in the comment section. I will take that as the lecture attendance. Thank you very much.